All right, we're back on sports, and let me say this now. To be honest, I really don't care. I really don't. Like, after the things I've seen last weekend, over the weekend, I have to ask, do people just sit around and mean tweet athletes all day? Is that what y'all do? Seriously, y'all don't go outside and go have fun and go chill and go party with your friends or whatever, with family, something? Y'all don't do nothing like that? Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, at this point, it's, you know what? I'm not going to get on that, man. We'll talk about that later, because there's some things that need to be, addressed. But, I do want to start off with the Eagles and the Bucs. And I want to say this because NFL preseason football is back, and for those who do not live in the city, I don't know if you saw on Thursday, but this city was crawling, was smothered in green. That's right. People were clamoring at a football game. It's been a long time since they've seen Eagles football. They were happy. People are out in the streets. They're either at bars or they're walking down the street. I saw a lot of people who couldn't afford jerseys or even the jerseys. They had their own mock-up jerseys, as long as it was, green and supporting the Eagles. So it goes to show you that this city is really looking forward to Eagles football this year. They're excited. It's great to see. Now, I do want to move on to Eagles football and talk about what actually happened in the game versus the Bucs. That's right. Now, I want to say this now. I need to talk about Chase Daniel. I need to talk about our quarterback. I say this because I don't think that Bradford is going to stay healthy all year. I don't think that's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that our offensive line will stay healthy all year. I mean, let's be honest. Jason Peters. I don't think they're going to stay healthy. And I don't think they're going to be, as effective. Now, we'll get into that in a minute. I want to start off with Bradford because Sam Bradford had said, during the preseason game, or I should say on the sidelines, that he felt as healthy as he's been in a long time. That he feels great, and that, last year they were treating him that way simply because he was still somewhat hurt. But now, since he's had a full year to recover, he feels great, and he feels as though he can do some, damage, this season with the Eagles offense. Now, with that being said, Chase Daniel, I have a problem with this because Chase Daniel, you had a chance to go out there and be the number 2 guy. Now, for those who did not watch the preseason game, the commentators were saying, hey, Chase Daniel keeps getting hit, he's getting sacked, the offensive line is failing him, and he can't get anything done. It's a rough day or a rough night or a rough game for Chase Daniel. And I'm thinking to myself, rough game? Oh, it's because Tampa Bay starters were still in the game of defensive starters. Okay, so is that really what you want to hang your hat on? Because if so, then I have to look at you like you're an idiot and say that you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to football. I'll talk about this in a minute. Because Chase Daniel, first off, Chase Daniel is looking downfield. No wideouts are open, which is another problem we will address. Okay, no wideouts are open, so he's got no one to throw to. So if that internal clock is not going off in your head, get rid of the damn ball, guess what? You're going to get hit. You're going to get sacked, and that's exactly what happened. So for him to have a rough night of football, which was only like a quarter and a third maybe, I'm thinking, or half maybe, I'm thinking to myself, no, that's not an entire rough night, all right? So it's not even a whole football game. But you have to understand that Chase Daniel couldn't get anything moving. And there's times when he tried to make plays with his feet that didn't really go well. But he also has to understand when nobody is open, you have to get rid of the ball. You have to. You can't wait, keep patting the ball, giving up your opposition. All right, because that's what you're doing. You're letting the secondary know, okay, he's going through. Wait, he's still looking. That's what you're doing. Okay? And then, of course, you get hit by the lineman. Now, people who want to make the excuse that, Tampa Bay, they had the starting defensive set and everything. And do you not know anything about the offensive line? I'll put it like this. Offensive linemen, God forbid they get hurt this year. God forbid. Because guess what? That second unit offensive line, one of those guys is going to come in and replace them. That's right. That's what's going to happen. You have to understand that these guys are playing for a spot. That's what preseason is for. Okay? Which means that these guys are going to stand up and be held accountable. So if someone goes down, that person is going to step in and be the guy. Okay? So for anyone complaining about them playing against starters, okay, so they played against Tampa Bay starters. And you do realize that they're going to have to, I put it like this, that those certain guys that make the team, and if someone get hurt, they're going to have to play other starters as well. All right? And we're not talking, look, now I don't want to disrespect Tampa Bay Bucs because, let's be honest here, y'all not that good of a team right now. Y'all not. But if y'all complain, Eagles fans, if you're complaining about the Tampa Bay Bucs leaving their starters, and I can only imagine if Chase Daniel and some of those guys on the offensive line, if they got to replace, the real starters, how they'll do against, Super Bowl contenders. How they'll do against, the NFC in general. Like, you got to be kidding me that this is what you're going to complain about. This is something that needs to be done. Of course they're going to play against us. So Tampa Bay needs to get as much work in as possible so that they know what they have on their team when it comes to regular season. So if you're going to put, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth damn unit in, you got so many people out there, all right, going against that mountain of the starters, that's a good thing because they have to get that experience. Now, of course, you say, well, Chase can't get nothing done. How do you think it's going to play out in the regular season? If Bradford goes down, Chase is just second. He's just second. Just let you know that. Even though I feel Carson Wentz should be, if they keep playing in preseason, he'll be the second, but they've already said he's going to be the third string. I'll talk about that later, okay? You have to understand that it's not just about the offensive line. Daniels is not getting stuff done. Like I said, wideouts are not getting open, so I can't blame him for that one. But he's really not using his brain when he's out there. And that's a problem. So for him to say he had a rough night, it wasn't a full night. I can only imagine if he had to deal with that for a full night. Not just a quarter and a third. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine that? Like I said, offensive line, we always know our starters get, hurt or replaced or something's going to happen. And, with suspensions, I guess we should talk about that right now, shouldn't we? Let's talk about that right now. Lane Johnson expects 10-game suspension over PED policy and rips the NFLPA. Now, I guess this is another person from the offensive line we'll be missing. But let's talk about Lane Johnson. Because last season I told you, what did I say about Lane Johnson? What did I say about him? Lane Johnson? Fuck Lane Johnson. And I stick with that because now this is the second time now he has cheated the game. So, for anyone keeping score, all right, cheated the game before, then last season, bagged on you Eagles fans, right? Then wanted to backtrack and apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to say, no, not taking your apology, bruh. Not taking it. Now, caught again, and get ready to get a 10-game suspension, right? PEDs, and then you want to bag on the NFLPA and say that they don't protect their players. Really? They don't protect their players, Lane Johnson. So let me get this straight. All the other horrible things we have seen in the NFL, all right? We're not even talking PEDs. I'm talking about just overall in the NFL. And players still playing, right? Because the NFLPA backed them. That's what it was. I mean, Alden Smith shouldn't even be on the team right now. He shouldn't. But the NFLPA, they made sure, you just can't just get rid of a guy like that. You can't blackball a guy. You just can't get rid of a guy like that. But they don't back their players. There's a lot of bad things that have happened in the NFL. Or just if you look in the last season alone. But those players are still playing, aren't they? Because the NFLPA makes sure that, hey, regardless of what transgression that's going on in their personal lives or whatever, they want to make sure that they can still play. So for Lane Johnson to burn that bridge and say that the NFLPA doesn't protect players, it goes to show you the type of mentality he has. He has not learned a damn thing. He hasn't. Now look, Eagles fans, I know there's some Eagles fans who defend Lane Johnson. I understand that you were defending him at the time because you didn't want to see him gone, because you didn't want it to be true, because you wanted to make sure that your offensive line, is as solid as it can be, given the number of people that we have. And, I get it. I understand that. All right? But you have to look at facts. And when this news came out, because you have to understand, he's not just a cheater. He's just not burning bridges, but he's also a damn liar. Okay? And I say that due to the fact that when this news came out and we all went off on Twitter, now what did I say? Cut him. Get rid of him. All right? Then it was, well, we're not sure if Lane Johnson did this or not. Lane Johnson came out us up and he said what? Anybody? Anybody. This is a mistake. I just woke up. I don't know what's going on. This is not true. Everything will be fine. I admit that I took amino acids because the app told me and it was okay. And he's blaming everything else but himself, if you notice, all right? His agent came out and did the same thing. These reports aren't true. They're false, and you don't have to worry about anything. This will go through. We'll wait for the sample B test and all this other crap. Of course you're going to say that because you're his agent. You don't want to see your players making your money go down, get suspended. I get it, all right? But within both suspensions, all right, bagging on the fans, bagging on the Players Association, it's not one time have you just said full out, other than trying to apologize for fans to backtrack because you were getting heat, Not one time have you come out and just be like, you know what? My fault. It's my fault. I take full responsibility. My fault. No. It's the app. It's I didn't know. It's the Player Association for not backing me. He hasn't learned shit. And this is the guy you want protecting your quarterback, huh? Are we just imagining that last season, that when he was off the junk, how much he got blown up? Are we supposed to forget that? Yeah. Get rid of him. As far as I'm concerned, get rid of him. There's a lot of problems with this team, especially with the wideouts. And then we should talk about wideouts, because a lot of wideouts dropped a lot of passes, didn't they? Yeah, let's talk about Ruben Randle. Now, for those also not keeping score with Ruben Randle, and it's not just this preseason game. It's not just OTAs or whatever. If you haven't been paying attention to what Giants fans have been saying for a long time, when Ruben Randle played for them, guess what? It's getting ready to hit us, Eagles fans. Giants fans have been warning you. You don't want this guy. Now, for those who don't understand, Ruben Randle is on a 1-year contract, all right? So that means nothing to me. You can get rid of him as far as I'm concerned. Unlike Lane Johnson, you have to understand, if you cut him, because for those who don't know, his 10-game suspension, all right, that means he has to give back guaranteed money. That means also that in the future, if any team signs him, he can't get any guaranteed money out of that. So he's got a lot of things. He's got a mountain that he's going up against, okay? Unlike Ruben Randle, who is on a 1-year contract to say, hey, if you do good, then maybe we'll do something. But if you're not going to, show any effort, then it's time to get rid of you. And that's what we're seeing right now at Ruben Randle. He's not putting in any effort. There are multiple reports that Ruben Randle put on an embarrassing display when it came to the preseason game. That he wasn't running routes, that he wasn't doing anything. He put in lack of effort. And all these reports that are coming out, Giants fans are like, yep, this is the Ruben Randle we know. Because this is what he does. He hurts quarterbacks, doesn't run routes, doesn't catch passes, doesn't, and hurts the quarterback's rating. You have to understand there's times when you're throwing to him and it ends up being an interception because he's not doing the right thing. This is the Ruben Randle that the Eagles have picked up. Eagles fans, even though we are rivals with Giants fans, this is the time you should be listening to Giants fans. Because they're absolutely right. Ruben Randle is a disgrace. He is. You can't sit here and tell me if you watched that preseason game that was okay. Because that's not okay. Ruben Randle needs to go. He shouldn't even be here as far as I'm concerned. I know you're going to say, Event, well, who are we going to have as wideout? We don't have anyone as wideout. That's the thing. Remember, last season, we had to create wideouts. Younger guys and try to get the ball downfield. You had to create stars because of the fact that Chip Kelly got rid of all of our guns, all of our pieces, all of our ammo. You understand it, right? And then, decided, when he was going to leave Philadelphia, I'm not going to take any responsibility for all this, and then leave for San Francisco. And San Francisco fans already got back to me and said, look, can you get on Chip Kelly? Don't let him get off the hook. But can you get on Chip Kelly this year if you watch any of the San Francisco games? Because they think that Chip Kelly's going to do bad as well. You don't have to ask me, bro. I'm there. That's a little bit too convenient for Chip Kelly. I'm just going to quit and then, not take responsibility and then run off to another team. Reminds you of when he did that with Oregon, right? All those sanctions. Oh, I'm not going to take responsibility. Let me run off to NFL. That's the Chip Kelly that, everyone knows. Ruben Randle is horrible. He needs to be cut. He is done as far as I'm concerned. The wideouts looked horrible. A lot of passes dropped. I don't understand, especially in Carson Wentz's case, because, he's throwing the tight ends like Ertz. I don't know how he dropped that pass, but there's some times where, and that's, I guess, where we should move on to, because Carson Wentz looked great out there. Regardless of the outcome, you have to understand the mechanics, you have to understand the poise, you have to understand the position, okay? Carson Wentz stood tall in the pocket. He defied blitz. When they tried to bring the house down on what he do, he went over the top and he made sure, even though it was an overthrown ball, he made sure not to throw it into double coverage. There's times where he evaded the blitz, times where he evaded linemen. You saw linemen just flopping back and forth because they couldn't get a handle on him. The kid has talent. He does. Though there were passes who were, a little high, they were still catchable, but a little high, as opposed to when people used to complain about McNabb when he would throw the ball too low. And McNabb would say, well, I was always taught to throw the ball low because, so it can't get picked off that way. Because as you know, if you throw a ball high and it goes off the fingertips, that's a possible interception. So I can understand that. Wentz, I think more of those passes that were thrown a little high, I think it's because of nerves. I think it's the speed of the game. He just got to get used to it. You know what I mean? But he looked good. He commanded the pocket. He tried to make plays with his legs if he needed to. He looked in control. That's what it was. He looked in control. So as far as I'm concerned, this guy has talent, I'm for it. If he gets healthy, and I say this because for those who don't know, he has a hairline fracture in his rib from the preseason game. There is no timetable yet for him to come back. So we will see what happens. Personally, I think if him and Chase Daniels have a shootout when it comes to being the quarterback, he's going to beat Chase Daniels. He will. But, like I said, the Eagles have already said that, he's the third string. He won't even be on the depth chart. He's going to sit on a wall, and they've already said this. But, like I said, if the fans keep asking for more, I think the Eagles will eventually have to be influenced and listen. I mean, let's be honest here, people. We've seen since this, Wentz have played, and let's be honest here. He had a number of passes that were, like I said, a lot of passes were dropped. But, you have to think, he had an interception, which he was hit in the process of throwing the ball, so that's what happened. You can blame the offensive line. You can say that's just good defense. You can say, maybe he should have been paying more attention. Wentz should have. There's enough responsibility to go around, okay? But you have to understand, when it comes to this position, all right, and people are saying, because I've seen half people say they want Wentz as their quarterback. This is the guy. This is the future. And then we're seeing another half of the fan base say, we just think he's being overhyped. And that really pisses me off. Because you can't say this kid is overhyped, given what he's done and what he has shown, just a little bit of what he's shown in this preseason game. Last season, if you want to talk about overhyped in the preseason, we saw Tim Tebow play football. Tim Tebow couldn't get the damn ball downfield, and they praised the shit out of him, did they not? Carson Wentz can actually move the ball downfield, can actually make plays, and you're going to sit here and tell me he's overhyped as opposed to what we saw, that circus that we saw last preseason? Seriously, that's where you want to go. Carson Wentz needs time to mold. That's all it is. He has the talent. He actually has the IQ, so you can say he has the vision. He knows what he's doing. I am all for Carson Wentz as far as I'm concerned. That's how I see things. However, I do want to give a shout out to the Eagles defense. They look pretty good. I mean, the game overall, could have been better, but that's fine. Special teams needs to get better. It needs to get better. I cannot believe all the things I saw in special teams, just missing blocks, protecting your punter. There's a number of things that just, your punt returner. Missing, huge blocks downfield. It's just ridiculous. Special teams look really bad, other than our punter and, dare I say, our kicker. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, I believe we have the Steelers next. There's a number of things I would like to see. We need to see more passes, and I say this because this is preseason. I don't care if we win or lose, even though I said last week I think we can win them all when it comes to preseason. I need to see more passes so I can see the wideouts catch the ball, and I need to see more running because let's be honest here. Right now we have a big fucking question mark right now at running back. We do. Grant, who we have already, but still, there has to be more. You need more. Because like I said, if somebody goes down in the season, like I said, it's right now we are on very thin ice when it comes to our depth chart. And I'm not understanding why they haven't looked into free agency more, especially with our wideouts and said, look, you got to bring in some veteran guys who played this so they know what's going on. And no, Ruben Randle is not the guy you want to lean on when it comes to vets. So yeah, Eagles-Steelers coming up. Should be a good game, I believe. It's Steelers. I believe it's Steelers game. Coming up this Thursday, and look forward to it. That's right. So until then, we'll talk more Eagles later. So now I want to move on to basketball. That's right. Now yesterday, I showed you a specific park in mind. Because remember, last year, I had this talk with a specific park in Philadelphia, talk about Markevich. And I went there. I don't know if you remember the video, but I went there and I posted pictures on Twitter last year too about it. And I said I was going there to see why they had took down, part of the court. So it was only one court there, so you couldn't play full court. Because remember, the players got back to me in Port Richmond about it. So for those who not remember what Markevich looks like, this is what I'm talking about. This area. So now that you have a small refresher, like I said, it was only one court for a long time. And with my endless bitching, this is exactly what's happened now. And yes, I call it endless bitching because of the politics that's involved with this. And I'll explain, okay? The politics involved when it comes to this endless bitching that I'm talking about is, you have to understand, that people who are the representatives, who have their own offices, that are supposed to be overseeing communities, right? They just sit around in their suits and they have their office and they do nothing, all right? They've got the connections, but they don't use the connections. They got, they can get the money, but they don't get the money for you because they don't think that it's okay. So as you've seen in previous videos, where you have a basketball court, and then what do? Well, we're not going to renovate the basketball court, but we'll give you a bike polo rink next to it. It goes to show you the money is being mishandled, okay? Now, with that said, let me explain why I call it endless bitching. Because endless bitching is me going door to door all the time. Hey, everything okay? Hey, how's that update? Hey, is everything still on track? Hey, is there anything you need? Hey, that's endless bitching. Constantly looking for updates, constantly seeing where they're at to make sure that this court is renovated. So yes, I am a nuisance to these people because I'm constantly knocking on doors, no matter what time of the day, no matter, as long as their hours are open, no matter what type of weather it is, whether it's snowing out or whether it's 100 degrees out, knocking on their door to make sure, hey, y'all getting this up, right? Okay. I am a nuisance because I won't let it go because it needs to be fixed. And they're hoping, you have to understand the politics is, they really hope that the general public don't speak out. Because I put it like this. They know that something's wrong. They know. And I'll explain to you because they've told me. Alright? They know something's wrong. But they're hoping that you don't notice it so that you don't bring it up. So that they don't have to do anything about it. So, if you keep on them, they have to say, oh, this guy's not going to forget this. The players aren't going to forget this. There's a reason why that many people aren't coming to our park. Thus, if no one comes to our park, no renovations happen, our park may be shut down. It's a double-edged sword. So you have to understand the politics in all this is that the reason why they took away one half of the court was because their excuse at one point was it brings too much violence. They don't know how to act. Players don't know how to act. The tempers, they flare up. There's a lot of cursing. As you can see, I'll show you another picture. As you can see, there was an abandoned playground right in front of the basketball court. The reason it's abandoned is because they renovated a new playground on the other side. So I'll show you that as well. But you have to understand that these are excuses that they had for not giving you another part so that players don't come back and run full courts because too many people are acting a fool. There's too much fighting going on, such and such. Players. Let me explain something to you, because now you have to be smart. First off, the ball is in your court literally now, all right? It's renovated. You have to take care of what you have. The time for, I'm just going to come over here, wreck everything, and someone else is going to clean it up, those days are over, okay? The money isn't there. Like I said, when they say the money isn't there, yeah, the money really isn't there. Like I said, the money's there, but they put it into other things. And you have to understand that when they put priorities over basketball courts, the reason why is because of that. So you have to take care of what you have now. You have to set, or I shouldn't say, you just send a message actually. Set a standard, because the stereotype is that you're going to get angry, you're going to get upset, there's going to be fighting, there's going to be cursing, somebody may be shot or killed, because, just let's be honest here, too many people watch TV and that's what they say, and that's what they think, okay? It's now time for you to set the standard that these things don't happen. They're giving you, when they renovate a court, you have to understand, they are giving you a chance. That's what they're doing. And they wouldn't have given you that chance unless I had said something and stepped in. Alright? I said, this is my third time now renovating a court. And as far as I'm concerned, I have faith in the players, but I don't know everyone. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't just have blind faith for everyone. But seriously, take care of this. If nets get messed up, bring your own nets. If they don't have any nets, they're supposed to have nets on hand, but they don't have them all the time. So you know what? You're going to have to bring your own net. They have ladders and stuff in their facility. So just ask them for the ladder. That's all you got to do. Now, of course, they're going to say, well, that's that could be a lawsuit. Trust me, they're going to, if anything, if they're not going to let you do it, they're going to say for you, tell you to, to give them the nets, and they'll put them up themselves. Either way, like I said, I've seen players do it themselves, and I've also seen people say, no, you can't do it because lawsuit possibilities, so they'll do it themselves. I've seen it both ways. You have to understand that if you want things nice, you have to earn them. And if they give them to you, then you show that you appreciate it. That's what it comes down to. The only reason I stick my neck out so far for you guys is because I know a lot of you. Like I said, I didn't even know the court at the time, was a year or so ago, was half the court of it was taken down, so you guys reached out to me. Y'all bumped into me on the street and was like, yo, Event, did you know that my carriage had took away such and such? What the hell is that? That's bullshit. We love playing over there. Can you do anything about it? I'll see what I can do. And now it's this. Like I said, this is the third time now. And also, I like to say St. Anne's, they need nets as well. And I'm tempted to give them some nets, but they just had a basketball tournament last month. Was it in July? in mid-July, mid to late July. They can afford some nets, so I'm not going to give them any nets. You have to have upkeep. You have to keep up on it. And like I said, you can't have stupid fucking players. Oh, I want to try and dunk. So what I'm going to do is, since I can't dunk, I'm going to jump and hang on the net and then pull myself up and hang on the rim. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. Those days is over. At this point, looking at their numbers, looking at their books, this shit costs too much, man. It does. And granted, it's not that much for me. It's not anything really out of pocket for me. But it's about the communication to get them to do it, to persuade them, to influence them to do it. So I got to talk to a bunch of different people. You know what I mean? And then say, well, you know what? If you don't believe that the players want it, I'm going to have to make a phone call, and I can have 20 players up here right now to show you that. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you have to call their bluff. You have to do these type of things. You know what I mean? There's a lot of politics and strategy involved in doing this. And the thing is, and I think I should... maybe I'll take a trip down to 5th and Washington, maybe, so I can show y'all just the arrogance of everything. Because even though I'm showing you that, that I have helped renovate this and I'm showing you what they look like, you have people who take it too far. And I showed you in this video before about the representatives, all right? Because I showed you when they renovated the bike polo park, they made that, that representative put his name on a sign on the gate saying, "Hey, I did this," and that's just grandstanding. The Mayor Nutter, the previous mayor, he did it as well. Mayor Nutter renovated this park, blah, blah, blah. Like, and y'all know my history with Mayor Nutter trying to get him to renovate basketball courts. So this goes to show you the type of arrogance these guys have. Like I said, me coming on here and showing you that this stuff is working and how to work the system and how to get people to listen, because that's what it is. It's about communication. Like I said, endless bitching, yes, but still communication. Your community has to have a good rapport with your Parks and Recreation Department, because if not, nothing will get solved. How do you think all these runs happen? How do you think all these, these renovations for your parks and stuff? It goes through them. If you have a good rapport with them and you make friends with them, guess what? You're not going to have a problem. Just last week, when I was at the barbershop, walking by, police, "Hey, how you doing?" Don't know this guy. All right, police. He was a bike cop. Didn't know him, but he knew me. You know what I mean? Not from videos, no, but from the community and what he heard. What I do. That's a good thing. You have to build a rapport. You have to get, like I said, everybody wants to be a fucking star. But here's the thing: you don't need to be a star in order to be recognized. And as long as people see what you're doing, especially when it comes to the police, that just opens the door for more opportunities. Like I said, I still have plans and I will still talk to our current mayor, because that is the next step. But it goes to show you that these things can happen if you put effort into it. I see more people put effort into being on fucking Twitter and harassing athletes than actually going out and doing something. But y'all love sports. Yeah, obviously you don't love it that much. But like I said I'd show y'all the other part of the park. So, where they actually have the, the playground for the kids. So, I'll show you that as well. So, as you can see, it's been renovated. Also, people still, even though those walls are there, they're very decorative. You have to understand, people play handball there as well. So, anyone has never played handball, against the wall or whatever. But if not, people in New York, you know what I'm talking about, because y'all have your own handball courts over in New York. This is just something small that we have. We have it also over at Cohawks as well, where we have a handball court as well. So it goes to show you that handball is still alive and well when it comes, especially here in Philadelphia, okay? I believe they also have one in Tioga. I believe there's a big one over on Tioga as well. So, yeah, like I said, I may have to take a swing over there and take some pictures, show some videos so y'all can see what I'm talking about over at that park as well. Also, I would like to say this now. I want to thank everyone involved in this renovation. I understand that it took me to come over and say something and keep bugging people, but I was only there for the basketball court. I had no idea that they were going to, renovate, the playground and the handball part. I feel like this is what I mean, politics, where they have, money and certain priority, and they divide it up, you know what I mean? So you just got to make sure that it gets done. You have to make sure that the money is there. People, since this has happened, there has been, like I said, the basketball court is just renovated, so you can't say anything just about that. But they've also taken care of their field, which there are a lot of football games going on right now, and also lots and lots, and I stress this again, and lots of baseball games going on. And I'm talking baseball games, not just saying just community baseball. No, we're talking organized baseball as well. So It's a great area to be in. You're right near the highway anyway. It's really fun to do. As you can see in the background in one of those pictures, they still have to work on their hockey rink, and the pool is not up to snuff because they need to renovate the pool as well. It's pretty bad. So, like I said, but one piece at a time, it is working. By the time they get their pool stuff straightened out, summer's going to be over, so maybe next summer they'll have it. So, we'll see what happens. But other than that, just keep constantly on. That's all you can do. I think next time I'll go look at also Samuels, because remember, in the video I showed you before with Samuels, where it was snowing that time I went over Samuels, the courts were destroyed, and there was puddles everywhere and everything like that, but they had like no rims up or anything. So maybe I'll go talk to the people at Samuels about that as well. You have to understand, like I said, I cannot stress this enough, about responsibility once something is renovated, okay? I want to stress that enough. So players, if you're going to play there, please take care of the stuff. It's already bad enough we see arguments where a player, because as you know, general rule of street ball, you don't spit on the court. You don't. All right? You don't spit exactly on the court because everyone's playing there. No one wants to get the ball and spit, and it gets on their hand. You know that's a general rule. That's a fighting rule. People get mad over that and start fights over that. You have to understand, it's just a simple rule. Same thing applies with this. Take care of the court. That's all you have to do. If you can't take care of the court, don't even bother showing up. But the court is there as a gift, all right? Appreciate what you have. Now I want to move on to the Olympics. About appreciating what we have, or I say this, not as viewers we should appreciate what we have, but NBC should appreciate that we're still watching to an extent. That's right. For those who don't know, NBC, we talked about this not too long about NBC fucking up, with their programming. For those who don't know, I'll put the link in the info bar. NBC, their viewership has dropped so badly when it comes to viewership in the Olympics. That's right. It's been horrible. The coverage of the Olympics has been absolutely, it's just, I can't believe people still have their jobs. I'll put it like that, okay? Now, with this said, NBC, in order to make up for the viewership lost, and to try and make up for revenue, they are offering more ad space to already sponsors that are being there. So you know what that means? That means more commercials through events. That's right. Anyone who watched swimming last night, you saw they were doing these events. It was 1,600 meters, and they cut to 2 different commercials. That's right, in the middle of the swim. So it goes to show you that NBC is having a huge problem with their coverage. And look, let's be honest here, people. We watch the Olympics for unique sports. All right. You can watch basketball anywhere. You can watch soccer anywhere. You can watch Olympic golf. You can watch golf anywhere. You know what I mean? Certain sports you can watch. Where's your archery? Where is your shooting? Where is your cycling to a point where, you know what I mean? Because we don't really see that much cycling here. You know what I mean? And I don't mean outdoor cycling, I'm talking indoor cycling when they go around the track. Where's your cycling? Where's your fencing? The boxing is a damn joke. I still haven't seen judo. Like, seriously, if you think about it, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I shouldn't have to. And the thing is, they show these unique sports kind of in the morning, so when everyone's at work, no one sees them. So you have to go on demand and watch them. It's horrible, because then, like I said, you mess up your prime time with all these commercials, and you kill well, Michael Phelps is going to be on TV, and then you cut to like 3 different commercials, you know what I mean? And then the time that you do have where you should be showing other athletes who have won, what you show a video package, instead of just showing the athletes that won. I don't understand it. I don't. NBC, you have done a horrible job at this. Horrible. And I don't understand how you still are allowed to keep doing this. Really, you have done a disservice to not only the athletes, and I'm going to show you an example of that, but also the viewers. You know what I mean? Because you're doing this. And NBC fires back at you guys. That's right. Because the NBC Sports exec fires back at critics and says, well, we are making more money because of the ad space. I'll put the link in the info bar. So, bad coverage, and you're going to brag about, but we making money though. That's your excuse, because you're selling more ad space. If anything, it makes me turn it off more because you're showing way too many commercials. As if we don't have enough commercials as it is. Or you'll see the same commercial a billion times, like you're trying to brainwash somebody into buying a product. It makes me turn the channel off. That's what it makes me do. It's just absolutely horrible that you would do something like this. But it literally says fire back at its critics. Sorry, but no. Just because you sell ad space and you're getting money doesn't mean that that's a great thing. You're doing a disservice to the actual games. You are. But there's more. Tell me, NBC, since you're so happy about how you're putting on the coverage, check this out. NBC didn't show Simone Manuel's gold ceremony until an hour after it happened. An hour. I bet you if that was Michael Phelps, you'd have showed it right away, wouldn't you have? But Simone Manuel makes history as the first African-American woman win gold medal like that in swimming, and you wait for an hour to show the ceremony. And you didn't think that people were going to be upset about that? Huh, NBC? Oh, there's more. There's more. That's right. For those who don't know, the San Jose Mercury News covers Simone Manuel's historic gold win in a completely offensive way. And watch how they just headline. This is on Twitter what they did. Watch how they headline Michael Phelps and just, it's just Simone Manuel. Just watch how they do this. Seriously, that's what you're going to give us. Michael Phelps shares historic night with African American. That's what you got. Are you serious? That's absolutely crazy. But then when Twitter, because everyone jumped all over, there was such a backlash, they decided that they needed to apologize for the issue. The damage is already done, and you thought that your headline, if you switch it, you actually put her name in it, and then put Michael Phelps at the end, that it was going to be, no, damage is done. You already messed that up. That's a damn shame that you decided to do that. Like I said, on top of NBC not showing the medal ceremony an hour later, and this, no, damage is done. You're taking all types of heat for this. And people already said, we're never going to forget. The internet will never forget because everything's screenshotted. You can apologize all you want, but it is what it is at this point. You should have known better than that. You really should have. That's absolutely pathetic. But you want to know what's more pathetic? And I said we talk about this. People sitting on Twitter, no lives, sitting on Twitter and harassing athletes. That's right, for those who don't know. Gabby Douglas. We just talked about this last week, did we not? Gabby Douglas. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for Missy Franklin, too, for those who don't know. Because, as you know, they've been pretty much noticed. NBC, they really haven't talked to any of these people. You know what I mean? Gabby Douglas has been there because of gymnastics, you know, and we already know that Simone Biles is pretty much taking over everything, you know what I mean? But Gabby Douglas has been trying her hardest. And people on Twitter just keep saying, look at her hair, look at this. And we just talked about this, did we not? About people sitting on there and bagging on her about her hair and everything. Well, it's gotten to the point now where Gabby Douglas, when she looks on social media, she looks at her Twitter, and the hatred that she's been getting is so bad that it broke her. That's right. It got to a point where she was standing in the corner and crying because of what you fucking losers had to say. That's right. And I know it's not all of you. I know it's not. We're talking about the people who actually went out of their way to say these type of things. It is disgusting. Y'all just forget just the last Olympics, y'all was praising this girl, right? Y'all forget that she won a gold medal. At 16, she won a gold medal, right? The Gabby Douglas story and all this other stuff. Y'all just forgot all about that, huh? Same thing with Missy Franklin. The last Olympics, y'all were kissing her ass to the moon. She is a great swimmer, blah, blah, blah. And for those who don't know, she hasn't really done much this season because, number one, she's been going through a lot of physical injuries and all. So she hasn't really been 100%. But she says herself that she's had some mental things, some management problems. She's had a number of problems, all right? And still going into this and trying to give it her best foot forward. And she even said herself that she's disappointed at what she's done. And she can't wait to just get back to school and be just a regular person. You know? Same thing with Gabby Douglas. I can't believe that these people who are representing your country, all right? Because Gabby Douglas says, she's like, I don't know what I did wrong to these people. I don't know what I've done. And they're giving me this type of hate. I'm here to represent our country. And, I mean, let's be honest here. The U.S. women's gymnastics team has destroyed everyone. But that's not enough, is it? No, that's not enough. You got to just keep poking. You got to keep prodding. You got to keep trying to get more out of them, don't you? They go out there and they're representing their country. The very same country that right now is bagging on them, calling them a bunch of names, and turning their backs on them. That's disgusting. Like I said, they are out there to represent us. And for you to sit there and do that. Like, I can understand if it was like a Hope Solo deal. We just saw what Hope Solo just did, where she was calling the Swedish team cowards and all that. I understand why people would get upset about that. But, and she admitted herself she's a sore loser. I get why people got on her. But Gabby Douglas hasn't said a damn thing to anybody. Missy Franklin hasn't said a damn thing to anybody. And this is how y'all treat them? Seriously. If you feel you can do better, then go do it. Because right now, they're out there representing us. Instead of supporting them, you want to throw fucking shade at them. You should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. You really should. But that's the type of life you live, right? Get on Twitter, and that's all you do all day. Get on Twitter and judge everyone the fuck else. You don't got shit else going on in your life, huh? What difference have you made? Whatever, man. It's fucking bullshit. I feel really bad for Gabby Douglas. I really do. There's no reason for it whatsoever. And Missy Franklin. Like I said, just this last Olympics, y'all was kissing their ass. They're winning ESPYs, having their own stories and all this stuff because they're not really winning this time because you have other people who have stepped to the forefront and are winning. You know, like Ledecky, like, Viles. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, they're just gone. They're a mystery. They're banished. It goes to show you that if you're not winning, people don't give a shit about you. That's what you're proving to them. You're proving to these athletes that they're not human beings. They're just machines at this point. They're puppets at this point for you to just do whatever the fuck you want. And they're supposed to just do it. And if they don't do it perfectly, well then guess what? You drop the hammer down on them. Like, who the fuck are you? Anyways, like I said, it's one thing if an athlete has done something wrong, I can get behind that. But these girls have done nothing wrong. So what if they're not winning? They're still out there representing our country. It's a lot more than what the fuck you're doing. Anyways, let's move on to the EPL. That's right, I want to move on football overseas. I got to talk about this because today Chelsea plays. That's right, I'm looking forward to it. So I really can't talk about them just yet because I'm looking forward to them playing. However, I did see Manchester United versus Bournemouth. And let me say, yeah, I'm a little upset that Bournemouth didn't take it to them. All right, the crowd was amazing. Crowd was on its toes. They made that game exciting. They made it dramatic. However, Manchester United, let's be honest here, all right? There's a little flopping going on, just a little, Wayne Rooney, just a little, okay? But I'm just waiting for Jose Mercury. I'm waiting. I'm just, October can't get here fast enough, man. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen when Chelsea and Man U collide. I cannot. It's getting closer and closer. I just can't wait. Because Jose Mercury just keeps running his damn mouth. It's getting to the point now where he's running his mouth about certain athletes on the team that Man U fans aren't even happy about it. So it goes to show you that already, first game in, all right? First game in and already people are like, shut up, Jose. Hey, shut up. And you know what? You got to put up with him for what? They said 3 seasons? This is what you got to put up with for 3 seasons. I'm just saying. Anyways, yeah, that's the only game I got a chance to see. I really didn't get a chance to see much of Manchester City and Sunderland. I heard Aguero did a lot of good things there, but I didn't get a chance to see much of it, so I can't really comment on it. So I really can't. I was at the gym. Like I said, I was at the gym at the time, and I was seeing it on TV. And that was going back and forth, doing stuff I was doing. So I really didn't sit down. I can't assess it. I can't talk about it. So, anyways, let's move on to the Griffin Force Flop of the Week, which is going to soccer, but not the EPL. No. It goes to the MLS. That's right. I don't know how this. It's Portland Timbers. I don't understand how you can have a player on your team and they do this, and for some reason, soccer fans are okay with it. It's unreal to see that type of flop, but I'm actually happy that MLS, listen, ready, MLS? They fined him for the flop. Thank you. Now, on a little bit of news, I want to move on to boxing. This is the last bit of news, so it's really interesting to talk about. Let's talk about Terrence Crawford calling out Danny Garcia. That's right. Now, for those who don't know, Danny Garcia was supposed to fight Keith Thurman. All right, not too long ago. They want this fight to happen. They want to unify the titles. That's what they want to do. But you have to understand that Keith Thurman is hurt after the whole Porter fight. So, Keith Thurman will not be fighting possibly till January or sometime next year. So him and Garcia are going to have this fight next year. They want this to happen. So this year, Danny Garcia still needs a fight, at least to keep, warmed up. So he needs an opponent. His fight card's open. Terrence Crawford, who just beat Pistol not too long ago, says, hey, I'll fight you. I'll call you. He calls him out and says, I'll fight him, because apparently Danny Garcia didn't want to fight Pistol. And Terrence Crawford just made real light work of Pistol. So, they started jawing at each other on Twitter. He was like, I just beat a guy who didn't want to fight. What's up with that? You know what I mean? I don't think that Terrence Crawford understands the power that Danny Garcia has. I only say that because, speed-wise, they're both pretty fast, okay? They're fast, we can say that. Technical-wise, they're both really good technical fighters. However, I don't feel as though Crawford has taken a big punch yet from an opponent such as a Danny Garcia. I don't think he has yet, and that would be interesting to see. So I would like to see this fight happen, but critics are saying it won't happen because, politics or whatever. And here's the sad part of things. Here's the sad part, but then the positive part of things, all right? If this fight does not happen, there are, and that's the sad part, here's the good part. There are many, many competitors that can step into that field and fight Danny Garcia and it be a quality fight. The 147-pound division is probably the best, and I'm going to say this, the best division in boxing right now. You have to understand, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Kell Brook has now decided to go to 147. That's right. You got Terrence Crawford there at 147. And Earl Spence Jr. has now decided to move up 147. This is a stacked welterweight division pretty much. And I put it like this also. I would love to see Adrian Broner move up. That would just be hilarious for me. But then again, if you look at those guys that I just mentioned, they kill Adrian Broner. It's one of those things. But seriously, if you look at that division, it is so stacked with talent. This is what I'm playing this. Boxing, please don't make these any pay-per-view fights. Make these either on HBO Showtime or free, because that will boxing stock will rise so high if this happens. This is what you have, a clash at the top. This is what you have if you beat all these guys, you can possibly go into the Boxing Hall of Fame. They always talk about how who's going to come after Floyd and Manny and all that type of stuff. You look at this division. These are killers. These are guys who are on the rise. This is the next generation on the rise that I feel as though if they keep at it and they keep this high production of quality up when it comes to their boxing, this high quality of boxing, this could be one for the ages. That's how good each and every one of these boxers are. And it seems like, I don't think that a lot of people give enough credit. This is what it's about. Being the best of the best. And as far as I'm concerned, Danny Garcia, if he's going to fight Keith Thurman, hey, that's fine. But you need a fight before then. Of course, he's looking for a fight. You got to have, it's going to be hard to get a fight that's going to be at least, will get you ready for Thurman. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough. If you fight a Kell Brook, he's going to be problems. You fight a Sean Porter, you know that's going to be problems. He's going to fight you like he's in a phone booth. You know what I mean? Earl Spence Jr. is looking for that fight. You know he's a problem. You saw what he did with Algieri. If you fight Terrence Crawford, you know he's a problem because of what he can do. Every fighter that's there, they are legit problems. They are legit threats. There's no getting around, I'm going to just have this tune-up fight and just fight a bunch of nobodies and keep padding my records and stats. Not in this division. It can't happen. There's too many contenders. Now, unless everyone has a belt and they say, well, we're just going to pick off guys here, pick off guys there, and we're just all going to try and make our money and be buddy-buddy, well, then a lot of people would say that it's not a very competitive division, regardless of all the talent that you have in it. People have to clash, and we're already seeing it. We already saw Thurman and Porter. So they're going to have to clash. The best have to clash with the best. That's what boxing's about. And it seems like it's going to happen. So this storm that's coming, I'm just letting you know now. Yeah, just get ready for it. Boxing fans, this is what you should be looking forward to. This is it. All right? Just letting you know that now. Also, in MMA news, I didn't talk about it last week because I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but apparently this is still going on. It's blowing over. Conor McGregor. I guess we need to talk about it. Now, look, I like Conor McGregor. I understand what he's doing. I understand he's trying to sell a fight, okay? But when you try and mess with pro wrestlers, it's saying that you can bitch slap them and they're all pussies and you can slap them twice on Sunday, you're going to have a problem there, all right? When you have wrestlers who are literally Olympic champions, they've won gold medals in wrestling like Kurt Angle, and you have all these legit wrestlers who have backgrounds that have been all state and all, you know what I mean? No, you can't do that. You can't sit there and do that. However, I do see the ploy in all this, okay? Because Conor McGregor is I'll put this. His fight with Diaz coming up, you can't talk. You can't talk to Diaz because Diaz beats you. The first time, you can say, okay, these guys are going back and forth to talking trash and all, but you can't do it this time because Diaz already proved he beat you. So you have something to prove. So trying to talk to him and trying to sell the fight, not going to work, all right? A lot of fans also feel as though in UFC that this fight shouldn't even be happening. There shouldn't even be a rematch. So there's that as well, okay? So the numbers don't look too good for, this fight coming up on the 20th. However, if you take a shot at wrestlers, which, as you know, the MMA community does not like a lot of pro wrestlers in their mixed martial arts. You saw how they treated Brock Lesnar at first, and you see how they're treating CM Punk. You see how they're treating him. So, as you know, MMA fans don't like pro wrestlers, okay, when it comes to coming into their sport. For Conor to step out of that zone and tap into that and say, look, I want a piece of this cross-promotion. I think it's genius of him to do it. It's a little lowbrow. People can see it that way. But he's trying to sell tickets, and that's what it is. So if you keep talking about pro wrestlers and getting attention on yourself, no one will take away the fact that, hey, you're not talking to Diaz. You're supposed to be talking to the guy you're fighting. No one's thinking about that. This is just a fight at this point. Unless Conor wins, then Conor can say, I'm back on top. You know what I mean? That fight was an anomaly, blah, blah, blah. Look how much weight I went up, which, let's be honest here, that is a lot of weight to go up. That takes toll on a fighter. It does. It does. If you've never done it, it does. Or even lose weight, it takes toll on you. But you have to understand that if he keeps talking this way, and wrestlers, which they're falling for the bait, if he keeps talking this way and they keep falling for it, could you imagine the money that's going to come in from the cross promotion? Wrestling fans and UFC fans, because of I don't see pro wrestling fans really hating UFC, but I see a lot, or MMA, but I see a lot of MMA fans who don't like pro wrestling. So you're going to have that back and forth. It's going to cause friction, it's going to cause drama, and it's going to cause ratings and ticket sales. And I think that's what Conor wants. I think he's dying for some more cross-promotion because he wants not only to be a bigger name, but he wants a bigger paycheck. And this way, it can happen. I feel as though Conor McGregor is doing something that no one has literally called him out like this. And he's known for his mouth. So, yeah, But let's be honest here. Conor McGregor trying to get one of these guys. First off, I don't know who you're going to get to try to fight you at 147. Is it 175. I'm sorry. I'm thinking still boxing. 175. Because every wrestler that's come out and actually answered him was like, yo, you're way too small. We don't even have that type of division. We would destroy you. But I put it like this. People also have to understand that Conor McGregor is pretty good with jiu-jitsu. And if you're a good jiu-jitsu fighter, it doesn't matter the weight. It does not matter. You could be 220 pounds, 230 pounds going up against the 175 guy. That 175 guy, if his technique is flawless, you're going to lose. And if anything, in the long run, it's going to burn out the guy who's bigger because he has more weight, he has more muscle, and guess what? That takes up a lot more oxygen. It just does. Anyone who does not know the ground game and how it works, I'm telling you, all these dudes who think they tough because they work out and think, oh, I can fight this guy or I can do this against this guy who's a trained fighter, you have no idea, dude. We see it every day. Guys 3 times smaller than bigger guys. You know what I mean? They use their strength, they use their athleticism. In the long run, they lose. And when I mean long run, we're talking 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute in. That's long run. Because these guys who are smaller are more wiry. Their technique, they look like snakes. They just slither around. That's what they do. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. It really is. When you see it on the mat, you're just sitting there watching like, damn, he's taking that guy to task. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing to watch. It makes you a believer that technique is paramount. It does. So, yeah, there's that. I think what Conor McGregor is doing, he's kicking the hornet's nest. Yeah. Some people think it's wrong. I personally welcome it because, like I said, I know I would tune in to see it. If someone came out and was, pro wrestler came out and was like, I can outfight you or I can step into the ring. You know what? Every time Conor McGregor has said something like this, it's always, come to my playing field. Come to UFC. Come to my playing field. It's never, I'm going to come to your playing field. I mean, maybe he'll show up at SummerSlam. We don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, you just don't know. But, I mean, that's what it seems like. He wants it on his base. I mean, let's be honest here. When he tried to call out Floyd, and he was making all those mock-up posters, he wasn't like, oh, well, I'll step into boxing, really, and just tear you up boxing-wise. And Floyd, come on now. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's not that many mixed martial artists that can handle boxing on their own. There's some out there who can. It's very rare. But there are those who can. I don't think Conor's one of them. I really don't think he is. But to hear the trash he's talking, well, if they don't want to fight in the octagon, we can do it in the street. You can catch me on the street and you'll see how it is. It's trash talking and it's funny and all, but no, I'd rather not see this in the street. I'd rather see this, in the ring or, in the cage. Either or, if you're going to do this. So I'd say, Conor, you should focus more on Diaz. Get that fight out of the way. And then go on this, like I said, he's just trying to bring attention to himself right now because there's a fight coming up. That's all it is. All right, that's all it is. Until there's some actual people who are going to step up and say, "I'll fight you," and then the contract is signed, no one should really even care at this point. Conor knows what he's doing to an extent. I say he knows what he's doing when he's talking trash, but he doesn't know when to ease up a bit because, as we know, he's had to backtrack a little bit on this trash talking because Ric Flair called him out. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Oh no, I respect Ric Flair. I respect The Rock. I respect Stone Cold." Like, yeah, but you just said all wrestlers are pussies. You know what I mean? So he had to backtrack a bit. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. Anyways, we'll see what happens from there. Like I said, I didn't want to address it last week because it just seemed like a bunch of nothing. But now that this is week 2 going in and wrestlers are still replying to him, this may have some legs to it. It may. So, and I thought it was worth reporting, So, like I said, besides, better way to plug the fight coming up, right? 20th coming up, UFC, McGregor versus Diaz. Not that strong of a card that much, but you know what? Still worth watching to see what's going to happen between these two. Anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Until next week. Talk to y'all then. I'm out.